Hola. Is that bad to say? Hello. Hello,
Good
everybody.
morning, everybody. What's up?
How's your week
Welcome
been?
to Kaha Connect. My week's been good. I bought my ticket.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. So I fly to Utah next week.
This is exciting. A lot
Yeah, I'm
coming.
excited.
It's actually kind of
Um,
weird not to like be in person, even though we only ever did one in person.
I know. Dude, it's gonna be so much easier in person.
Yeah, definitely.
I had well, I don't know if we want to get into this. I was gonna tell you about my doula training, but maybe
Yes.
we'll
No,
do
I
that
do.
for another
I
convo.
was gonna ask you about it. I want to hear. Also,
Um,
you
it
started.
was honestly very humbling. It was very confronting.
Okay, so tell everyone what it is.
So I'm training to become a death doula, which is essentially to help people transition through death, right? To like make amends with their life, pass on through the other side. Doesn't have to be physical death, can be, loss, grief, psychological ego death, but mostly it's physical death. And so I've been in this training and we did this exercise yesterday of simulating your own death. So
Ooh.
there's this circle they call the community circle, and there's three rings. Imagine a center circle, which is you who's dying, outer circle, second one, and then third one. And the first circle is your inner circle. So she said, as of today, you have 3 months left to live. That's it. You have 3 months. So, in planning for your death, as you prepare for this, who is in your inner circle? Who's going to be there for you when you die? Who do you want that's there? Who's going to support you? And put those people in the inner circle. And then the extended circle outside of that is anybody, maybe neighbors, coworkers, doctors, healers, people that you're not as close to, but you still want to be there to support. And then the community circle on the outside. Community you're a part of, church organizations, anything like funeral services, things that you want to be a part of the death. And I start to fill this out, and I filled out the inner circle really easy. Like I have a really good inner circle of friends, family that I'm really close with. I got to the extended circle, and my mind went blank. I didn't. There was like no one, and I'm like, okay, I'm just having like brain fog. Like I'm just kind of sitting there, and it's like this slow realization of like, holy cow, I don't actually, if I were to die in 3 months, how many people would be at my funeral? Right? Like, how many people have I disconnected from? And dude, it was like this very unsettling feeling of how much I've drifted from relationships.
Mm,
And then especially like leaving, the church growing up, once you get to the outer circle, it's like where's your community?
yeah.
What church do you want to be involved in?
Yeah.
Nothing. And then it was like this slow realization of, wow, I'm not really contributing deeply to a community. There's not really a circle that I've fostered. I've been so more kind of hermit mode the past few years that I've detached from so many people. But if I were to die in 3 months, is that, would I be fulfilled? And
Yeah.
it was like a hard pill to swallow of realizing like, man, I have really disconnected from a lot of people. And it was the realization, and then you got split in groups and you got to speak with your partner. And just the idea that when you die, the only thing that matters is relationships. Everything else falls to the wayside. Nothing else matters except for those last moments
Mm,
of who you have around you, like who you've made an impact on, communities you've contributed to.
yeah.
And when I was sitting there with it, I specifically had Kaha that came into my mind. And I
Mm,
like heard the phrase that said Kaha is for connection.
mhm.
And like the desire that came up to create a community for people that don't have an inner circle.
Yeah.
And because there's so many people, they shared examples of, these educators who have been doulas for over 20 years of how many times they were sitting with people who have no one. They've been estranged from family, they've been cut off, they don't have anybody to rely upon, and they're sitting there in those last moments of just like, man, what did I do? You
Yeah.
know, who's sitting around me? And I think that's a very isolating feeling, and it was uncomfortable. Like,
Yeah.
after the training was done for the night, I was going on a walk, and I was just like, "Holy cow."
Like a
That's
heavy.
something. Yeah, it was sorta heavy, like, I think you would call it grief, and this sense of, there's some things I wanna change. I
Yeah.
want to start getting back in contact with people I've drifted away from, and then it made me think of Kaha, of how much we're creating this, but how much I'm not fully actually contributing. Like,
Mm.
if these were the last days, like, the last few moments, the last few months, would I not want to put everything into a community to create that sort of connection?
Yeah.
So, it was a wake-up call. It was very confronting in a way that I didn't think it would be. And it just made me realize the importance of connection, you know, and how we all seek it. And I got put into this group with my partner, and she was like, of course, a mirror image of me. She was older, not older, late 40s, and she's in the music industry. And she was like, I have a strong inner circle, but outside of that, she's like, I'm a Scorpio. I got my strong boundaries.
Yeah.
And she's like, this made me realize I don't have anyone. And
Did you
is
tell her about Kaha?
yeah, I'm like, by the way. And I asked her, I was like, well, did this bring up any desire for you to maybe make some changes? Because she was like, I like my peace. I like
Mhm.
to guard my peace, is what she said. So I said, did this bring up any desire to maybe make changes? And she was like, it's definitely making me reflect. But she's like, it's the one thing that's stopping all of us, which is fear. She's like, it would require me to get out of my comfort zone and change a lot of things about my life. And she's like, I don't know if I'm willing to do that.
Yeah.
And it just made me realize how many people are in the same spot. This fear of, I don't know if it's a fear of connection, but a fear of vulnerability, a fear of like fully showing up, of like opening our hearts and realizing that there's so many people that crave connection, yet we push it away. We avoid it. We maybe aren't as vulnerable because of maybe how that'll be received or perceived. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, the need is there.
Yeah, definitely the fear of acceptance, I would think. Like, I think in our minds, I mean, I feel like everyone grows up and there's just, like, this persona that people are expected to fit, right? Whether that's, again, in their church, in their school, in their family upbringing, like, and I just feel like as people get older, it's right, like, more so putting on the masks of, like, having to fit that persona or image, when in reality, no one actually, like, knows what that is or wants that.
Hmm.
So everyone's, like, playing this game that I think we're all waking up to and being like, "It actually doesn't matter, like, what do I want? Who am
Yeah.
I?"
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like, how can we bring community into that and meet us where we are?
Hmm. Yeah. And it really shone a light on how connection is an active skill. It's
Yeah,
not passive. It's like,
relationships are hard.
well, and it's, I think the thing that hit me the most, and we've talked about this, but like,
Mm,
we grew up in, the Mormon church, which was an amazing community. And I
mhm.
think one of the hardest things when you step away from that is the loss of community. That's
Yeah,
probably the hardest thing. And so when I was going through this exercise, I was thinking of like a past version of myself who would have that whole entire community at the funeral. And that's no longer there. And just kind of like expecting that to be replaced, not realizing that I actively have to replace that.
yeah,
If that's what I want, and that's why we set out again to build Kaha. But I
yeah,
think this really hit at a deeper level of
yeah,
like, this takes active work.
mhm,
Like, this takes active showing up and showing, like, I wanna connect. I wanna get to know more about you. I to, like, taking interest, asking curious questions. Even in our call yesterday that we did, which was awesome with Melanie, I
mhm,
found myself reflecting back on that and how I could have showed up different in terms of a deeper, I think, interest to connect rather than to receive information,
mhm,
right? And my mind automatically goes towards this very subtle layer of performance, when underneath it's like, if I let all of that go and if I were fully present, which I wasn't, could I just connect? Which
Right.
is what we're, like, all craving, and
Yeah.
anyway, I think that's what I'm, like, currently realizing, but being like, connection is active talent. It's
Yeah.
something you have to put effort into to, like, every day call someone up, text someone, like,
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
in the community, ask questions about people, like, really, really deeply listen for where people are at, and that's what starts to build the community. And I think I'm just, yeah, recognizing the move from, like, passive building of community to more active.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And
Yeah.
I think again it comes down to like the presence, right? Of 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 being actively present and I mean, yeah, I think that's where it gets hard though because it's like we're building this Kaha and like I feel like when I talk to people, they love the idea, they love everything about it, but then it's like the activeness is not there,
Sure.
right? Like they're
Yeah.
not gonna join, they're not gonna show up to the meetings, they're not gonna come
Mhm.
to the workshops, the challenges, like and again, I maybe it just takes time, maybe we haven't, you
Yeah.
know, the people who are ready for that, but I feel like it is interesting. Um, yeah, like I wonder what that shift is, or maybe again, it's the mirror of us not being actively ready to connect.
You said it. I think that's exactly what it is. Like, that was the realization of, like,
Mm,
it's like I'm craving connection, but I'm, like, stopping it. I'm like, "No, give me more," but then I'm, like, hiding. I'm like, in this, like, push-pull,
not too close.
which creates this friction that I've been feeling in my body, and I haven't been able to pinpoint it. And that
Mm,
friction is that opposite of, like, I deeply want connection, but I'm not willing to be vulnerable to receive it. So it's this constant push and pull.
yeah,
And I think that's the signal we're kind of sending out, which is why I feel like the next step to that is the visibility of vulnerability
yeah,
and
it's
just
putting
like
stuff
pure
out
openness, yeah, of who is drawn towards it. Because in
there.
my group of doulas that are training, I wouldn't hang out with any of these people, right? And they're all training to be doulas and they're awesome, but like I wouldn't they're not my people, and that's okay. And it just made me realize, like, it takes time to really. And there was one girl that I got put into a group with, and immediately, it was so easy.
Yeah,
And we were, like, talking, she talked about
yeah.
this podcast, and I was like, "Oh, I've seen that." She's like, "No way." And it was this immediate connection, whereas I didn't have that with anybody else.
Yeah,
So, like, I think when we do open up and finally open up to receive connection and not be scared of being seen, then the right people come in. When the signal is put out there, which is what we're doing, like, finally getting the signal out there, and um, I think that, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's
Dude, that's cool.
it's cool.
Wait,
It's
so
really
do you want a funeral when you die?
well, dude, this is what was so sad is that when I got to the outer circle, it's sad, but it's cool. The very outer circle is, like, legal stuff, funeral services, church community. The
Mm,
only thing I wrote down on that outer circle was nature,
mm, that's
which was,
cool.
like, sad because I realized I didn't have a active community I'm a part of or contributing to, which is
Yeah,
why we're building Kaha.
yeah,
But there also was, like, the deep knowing that however the death goes, I want it to be in nature.
yeah.
I don't want it to be in a casket that's a $200 wood box that they charge you for 3,000, and then all these other things that get put into this system where you basically get taken advantage of in this square building where you're up at a podium talking about debt. Like, I want it to be this real life celebration of that's what
Mhm.
India taught me. Like, this,
Yeah,
when you die, you're being returned to nature. So they take the body, they march it down the street. They get sandalwood and they burn the sandalwood, and the smoke represents the air that starts to bring the spirit out. They then
mm,
take the body, they dip it in the Ganga River, which represents water. They then put it on the wood, which represents the earth. And then
mm,
they take the flame and they light it, which represents fire.
I
And they
love
believe by combining the four elements, burning the body, it then returns to nature. And
I
there's
love
something so beautiful about that that really aligns with me of, like, I think that's how I would wanna return, to
totally.
be
Like,
honest.
do not put me in a box in the ground next to a stranger
Yeah,
to pay for.
I know.
Not for me.
Yeah, it's
No
well,
stress and lighting.
yeah, and just I mean, that's a whole rabbit hole that I'm discovering the funeral industry of how they take
Same with the
advantage
birth
of
industry. It's the same. All
well,
the industries
they
are
take
the same.
advantage of grief, right?
Yeah,
So you're not in the right state to be able to make these sort of executive decisions, and they sort of take advantage of I mean, maybe that's a blanket statement, but and one of the interesting things about being a doula is that you have to they teach you what's called full self listening, meaning that you have to remove every single bias and belief and interpretation that you have. Because what I believe about death is
right,
not what the person who is dying maybe believes or wants.
right,
So there's this interesting separation where you're there to hold space, but you're not there to fix, not
right.
there to provide solutions.
Yeah,
You know, so you go through these practices of they'll give certain statements of things that the dying people say of like I have so many regrets and I
yeah.
don't know what to do and you have to become aware of three things in the same time. Number 1, what they're saying, number 2, what you're hearing they're saying, and then number 3, what's coming up in you as they're saying that.
Hmm,
Right? So it's like they may be saying they have these deep regrets and you may be hearing that like they're in deep like remorse or pain, but that's not what they're saying. And so then catching the urge in you to want to fix that and to change it and to bring your perspective into it. And it's just been a really interesting process of recognizing how each person is so different and
mhm.
we're all so unique, but it also brings light to like if I am unique, what is it that I really want, you know, and what would fulfill me at the end, you know, of death.
Yeah,
So
it's fascinating.
yeah. So
Whoa.
there's our intro. So we have a topic today that Clancy's going to be sharing.
Do we?
I thought you said you had a topic.
No, I had jotted down a note. Well, and I think last week we kind of wanted to touch on kind of being in this waiting period and
Yeah,
like how to go through that. Like, because I think we're both in this transition state and we have been for what seems like years. But I think really just like the past year, I would say. Um,
or two.
yeah. Um, of of kind of knowing you're not in the right place. So it's almost like I don't wanna put myself I don't know, it's a weird, predicament because it's like I almost don't want to build my roots here where I'm at with my house because I know I don't wanna be here long term, but at the same time, not knowing what's next or where to go and what to do. So, yeah, I feel like we've kind of just been in this limbo state of, um yeah, I think what I'm realizing is that it happens on the inside first, right? Like, I feel like I'm not sure where I need to be or what I need to do because it's like you're here and that's technically all that matters, right? Like, make the best of it. So I feel like I've been focusing more on, like, what can I do here to make life more enjoyable, right? So, like, last year we planted fruit trees, like, we're about to plant our garden. Just, like, I guess making the home space more homey, because like, whether we're here or not, it's like what we're giving to it is gonna give back, right? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Mhm.
But it's still a difficult place to be because it's like you're yearning for something new and different and like wanting to be in the environment that feeds you like a warm beach and a healthy climate and lifestyle. Like that feels aligned with me, but then it's also like you can't force it. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess we're sitting back and waiting for the call.
Yeah. Which I feel like is very unorthodox, or I should say it's not very, accepted in our current society's view, right?
Yeah.
To wait,
Yeah.
right? Like, when you hear the term, like, "Just wait," like, for me, what comes up is, like, this sense of
Mhm.
laziness, to be honest. The sense of, like, I'm the creator of my reality, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
'Cause
why
I
am
do
I
believe
waiting?
that too. So it's like, where does it yeah,
Yeah.
where does it come in that you're not in control of your reality? 'Cause you are, but you're not.
They That's why I love people who use the term co-creator. This is
Mm,
one thing that Gene Keys distinguishes a lot that I haven't, because like most times when you get into like stuff with manifestation, it's all about you are 100% the creator of this reality. It's like this holographic mirrored simulation, which
yeah,
I believe.
yeah,
Gene Keys, though, also teaches that you're the co-creator. You're not actually responsible for everything that is currently happening. And
right,
so, can you be more in the seat of the responder to what is in front of you? And I think that's where letting the things that are in front of me be the thing that like teach me to be present, because ultimately wherever I go, there I am. Like I have myself.
yeah,
I think that's been the biggest lesson for me is that, like, even if something massive changed right now and I got everything I wanted tomorrow,
right.
nothing internally would shift, right?
Yeah,
Like, and that's kind of a sobering thought. Like, I'd get that hit for a few weeks. I'd be on
mm,
cloud 9. It's like, meeting a new significant other, like that
right,
kind of honeymoon phase. But then after a few months, you realize I'm the same person. I just got this hit,
mhm,
But then once that wears off, I'm still with everything that's in me. And so treating this as a time for me, I've been realizing to, like you said, be good with where I'm currently at. And if I can make, sort of lemonade out of lemons with the current situation, then think how much greater it'll be,
yeah,
when everything really aligns in the way that I want. Um,
right,
and I think it requires a deep listening. All right.
mm,
I think it requires a slowing down too. I think most people that are in this waiting period, this transition phase, almost everyone I know that's in it, it requires a slowing down
yeah.
because when we're moving so
Longer than I expected.
fast, yeah. Well, I think it goes, not to put a time limit on it, but I do think it operates slower than we think.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's what's also crazy is that I feel like time has been so slow, almost non-existent, but at the same time, like, you look back and it's like we're already in May pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
how are we already in May of 2026?
Mhm.
So it's like time is warping so fast, but then in the moment, it's, like, so slow, and
Yeah.
it's like, where I feel like we're yeah, I don't even know where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, and I think that I would love to hear, like, what you think your biggest lesson is you're learning right now. 'Cause I think for
Mm,
me, it's like deep acceptance of not just my circumstances, but my current self. And I had an interesting experience yesterday where, because you kind of said this, like you feel like you're not, I can't remember the exact words, like you're like in a life that's like not yours in a way. Like I
yeah.
sometimes feel like I'm in the wrong movie and I'm like, wait, what? And I try to then not be in that. So I
Yeah,
had this moment where I was in the doula training and I could feel myself, because I was about to speak in front of like the whole group and I could feel myself getting nervous and in my head like I'm why am I not myself? I just want to be myself. And then I
yeah,
realized the resistance of trying not be
yeah,
myself.
right.
And then I was like, wait, I'm literally trying to not be me. And
Wow.
That's so exhausting. And I
Yeah.
was like, I had this small little switch in that moment, and it was like, what if you just allowed your not self to just be?
Mm.
Cool, I'm not myself. What if I just accepted that? Instead of, like, fighting against it and, like, being like, "Okay, I'm not myself, let me hurry and, like, do some magic so I'm myself."
Doing a
And it never
this
works. Yeah, you
outfit's not right.
yeah, dude, it's like and so this realization that you can't force presence, you can only relax into presence. So, like, if I'm not myself, cool, let me allow that. Maybe this is the phase I'm being in to just be aware of what parts of me are not me, so
Yeah,
I can just notice that. But the more I don't want that to be here and I push it away, the stronger it gets.
right.
And so it's like, can I just accept the parts of me that are coming up that aren't necessarily me, but they are me, right? They're forms of me, they're masks I've created, they're
Yeah,
patterns. So can I just accept all versions of me that are coming up and be okay with that?
yeah,
And that's
it's a big
yeah.
one. It's a
What do you
lot.
feel like it's been for you? Like the biggest lesson you're learning through sort of this waiting period?
Um, I think just, like, um, I guess not being in control, because like, part of me loves a plan, I love strategy, and, like, not I mean, yeah, the amount of places I've done, like, research on living in the past, like, few years, it's, like, all over the board. And I, like, look back and I'm just like, that's great, I did a lot of research, I know a lot of things, but at the same time, like, it doesn't really matter, right? So, I think just, like, letting go and like, finding the rhythm of, like, I don't know, like, almost being ready to jump when that call comes, but at the same time not expecting that. I don't know
Yeah.
I don't know what you call that.
Insanity? No.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, again, just, like, coming back to presence, it's like, I am where I am, and I feel like there's just been so many cool moments lately of especially with Louis, of just, like, being so in the moment with him, and, like, even when our eyes, like, connect and he's just, like, playing this imaginative game, but we're, like, just creating our own world, you know what I mean? And it's, like, in those moments, I feel like I actually, like, feel alive rather than, like, trying to force my reality into something I think I want, right? It's like, I'm actually here, and I don't know, I think having a kid has really helped me to dive back into that play mode, you know what I mean? Like, not really like, he does not care when we're stranded on the mountain in Moab and, like, when things break down and, like, when things go wrong, it's like he has no him and Gnarly, like, children and dogs just have no like, they just don't care what's going on, they're just, like, in the moment,
Mm,
they're doing their thing, and I feel like it's just so I don't know, I feel like it's teaching me a different way of life, right? It's like, "Oh, like, we just have to like, we are where we are and just, like, be in that moment," which is so simple, but I think just peeling back, again, all the programming and especially my mind thinking like, "Oh, I gotta get this ready, and I gotta plan this, and where are we gonna go, and let's find a place," and but it's like none of that actually matters because I feel like the opportunity if I am, like, almost sending, like, my heart signals out, right? Because like, I am craving that, but then it's almost like I trust that that's gonna find me, right? Like, an opportunity will come up, and it's like, "These people are moving out of here, and they need someone to house sit," or, like,
mm.
whatever it will be, I feel like I don't know.
Yeah.
Bah.
Yeah, dude, totally. And I think we're starting to realize how much our mind gets in the way, or I guess
Oh,
how much we get in the way of ourselves,
yeah.
because it's like my mind is so finite to what it can imagine.
Mm,
If I'm so focused and gripping on to the reality I want to create, what
mhm.
if that is not actually like what is possible? And I and I
Yeah,
hear this theme.
I don't even want it.
Yeah, well, and I hear this theme often, and I heard it yesterday from people who feel like they're finally living their dream come true, and they always say it's more than I could have ever imagined.
Yeah,
So I'm
right.
like, "Well, if that's true, then the current path I think is best for me is so limited. So
Yeah,
why am I so intent on making it happen?" And if something goes, like, out of alignment with that, it's like it throws me off, when in reality, what
yeah,
if it's the universe that's like, "Dude, just, like, let go," because what you think is, like, your ultimate reality is so small compared to, like, what is actually being prepped for you. But,
yeah,
like, that can't happen unless you let go
yeah,
and you let the pieces move into the right position without you getting in the way.
yeah, 1000%. That's it.
Yeah.
I even had another thought because the week before I came out to Florida to see you last week, I was listening to all these astrologers and channelers, and they're just like, this next week of April is gonna be insane. You know, all the planets are coming in line. People are gonna be mean. Like, don't travel on this day. And that was when I was flying home, and I was just like, oh, great. I almost was like creating, like, I kind of got a little bit of anxiety. And then in my head, I'm like, no, I can't live in fear. Like, we're just gonna go. And then we go and, like, everything's fine. In fact, everyone was so nice.
Mm,
People helped me with my luggage on the plane with Louis, like, 'cause he had, like, fallen asleep at we got in at midnight and, this cute, like, little high schoolers, like, helped us off the plane with our bags. Like, everyone was so nice, and
mhm,
I just was reflecting on it, and I was like, "I can't believe," like, yes, I believe in astrology and all these things, but it's like on the individual level, like how much are we looking externally rather than being like, whatever comes my way, I got this, right?
mhm.
Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was, yeah, so interesting because again, it's like this whole year, everyone's like, crazy stuff is
Fire
gonna,
horse year.
and it's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it will, and maybe in other people's realities it is, but like I don't know, I think it comes back to, I guess, going more internal, like, cutting off the noise and being like, "What like, how do I feel?" Because it was just crazy. I was, like, seriously getting anxiety about traveling to Florida, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't do this." And then, like, imagine if I wouldn't have come or something.
I
Like,
know.
we had the best week ever.
The
So,
best week. Which, like, really, yeah, this keeps coming back to, and maybe this, like, encapsulates it's all, but, like, trust in your own inner knowing.
yeah.
That's why I asked Melanie yesterday, like, for someone, who, like, is learning how to I'm, like, asking in a roundabout way,
So
like this.
I have a friend.
I have a friend. She's like, "Oh, trust is easy." I'm like, "Okay." And, but that's been a constant development for me of I've realized it's not actually that I don't trust my inner knowing, I deeply do, but
Yeah.
I take in so much that I allow that to contrast it, and then
Yeah.
I'm, like, synthesizing between all these different things.
Yeah, analyzing all the information.
Dude, which is why I had to eventually delete social media for a
Yeah,
little bit because
yeah.
it started to create this real internal sense of disconnection,
Yeah.
uh, seeing so many different paths and trying to find. I think my mind's obsessed with patterns. It's constantly trying to find the pattern. And so I'm trying to synthesize all these people's paths to be like, but what's the most optimal?
Yeah,
and realizing the most optimal is mine, which is
right.
unique. You're
Yeah.
not going to get it from some dude on a podcast. I'm not going to find it in a book. I'm not going to find it from knowledge. It's going to come from slowing down and reconnecting back to my emotions and my body and the
No, yeah.
signals. And no matter what the external says, what do I feel internally? And
Yeah.
then if I truly feel good about something, even though logically it's not making sense, that's the jump.
Yeah.
Can I, like, honor that inner knowing? And
Yeah.
I think that's the juice, right? That's the
Well, and that's
juice.
what we're building, right? Like, that is Kaha, like, teaching people, like, yes, having the community, having the support, but also teaching people how to, I think, just come to know themselves so you can trust your inner knowing, right?
Yeah,
Like, in all of our pillars and all of our guest speakers and challenges and even retreats, it's like, I feel like at the root of it all, it is coming back to that trust and intuition and connection. Like,
mhm,
that's that's what we want.
yeah, and it's the only way because if we're deconditioning from an old paradigm, which we are, that requires, and we've said this before, but building it from the inside out.
Yeah,
And I first have to create that sensed feeling, that emotional feeling within me first before I even see anything externally,
yeah,
which means that everything that triggers that outside of me, I have to be able to, like, stabilize that,
yeah,
no matter what's happening, be like, have this certainty
yeah,
that you're in the right spot, you're on the right path, the
yeah,
right things are coming up at the right time. If you didn't need to be here, you wouldn't be here.
yeah.
In the sense that, like, the only thing I need to really focus on is what is in front of me, what's currently coming up. And I find myself often wanting to, like, skip, like, do a little, what was that game we played as a kid? The hop, skip, the one that, like,
Or,
what's that called?
um,
Hop, skip. Anyway, I just had that visual. Like,
I don't know why I can't think of it.
yeah, but, yeah, the inner trust, inner knowing.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I mean, I think we've had a good, yeah, a good discussion today.
Yeah,
Um, come join our conversation. Link below.
we'll talk
Every
about all
Friday,
things,
10
yeah.
a.m. Mountain
We'll come up
Standard.
with a topic every single week,
Mhm.
throw that topic out, and then just shoot the breeze.
Shoot the breeze. Is that so?
Yeah, well, any last words?
Um, no, we had an amazing workshop yesterday in school with Dr. Melanie Bates. She's a chiropractor and talked about, like, the energetics and the nervous system. It was a very interesting, like, different perspective. I just loved her perspective. It was not what I was expecting. So,
Not at all.
yeah, like, I don't know. I think, again, just putting it out there, like, join Kaha, links below. We have tons of, yeah, each month we go through a different pillar and bring on guest speakers and have challenges and again, just connect. Like, we have monthly calls, we have cute doggies.
Really, yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
and I think yeah, no, that's good right there. So, I was just gonna go to stuff in the future, but no, I
I
think
mean,
that,
yeah, what is upcoming? Maybe give some upcoming events.
well, so each month we focus on a theme, a pillar. So next month is financial empowerment, which
That's a big one.
it's gonna be a big one, and I'm really excited because this is one that I feel like physical, energetic. These things come more naturally to me. Emotional, not as much. But I really developed that.
Yeah.
But finan
I mean, you've been working on all of them.
I've been working on all of them for
Yeah.
sure. But I would say out of all of them, for the majority of my life, the most triggering was probably financial.
Mm.
Just because of I think environment, we were raised in certain beliefs. I picked up on a lot of fear around money, a
Yeah.
lot of fear around finances, a lot of fear around not being okay,
Yeah.
and that's also been a deep development. So to finally be at the place where it's like I'm like open to it now, and what's been so cool about the financial, I'm going on a rant here, but what's so cool about the financial empowerment pillar is that the biggest realization I took away was not actually about money, but my relationship to money.
Yeah.
And that's when I finally started focusing on that. I realized, oh, it's not about the money, it's about my relationship with it.
Yeah.
And I was very in this fearful, sort of avoidant relationship. And in working through that, it's been interesting to see the excitement and the
Yeah.
love that's
Like,
actually coming around money, like truly the not fascination, but the like, oh,
potential?
I look at money now as this like dope sidekick that's like, why would I not want to like embark on this cool adventure with money?
Yes.
What can money teach me? What can I do with money?
Yes.
Where does money want to go? How does it want to, like, why would I not be open to the flow? And
Yeah.
sometimes that flows here, sometimes that flows here, but if I can just like let it flow, like money's becoming this thing now that I want to do life with, and it becomes this powerful resource. And I think for a lot of people that are in maybe the spiritual community, that tends to be a fear, but I think the more we learn to develop a different relationship with it, the
Mhm.
more powerful it becomes. So next
Yeah.
month is all about financial empowerment. We have May from
T-Warrior.
3D Warrior,
T-Warrior Academy.
3D Warrior. Sorry,
Yes, right?
3D Warrior Academy.
Yeah. No,
They
I love that
She's
you
been in
said.
their cohort for the last
Mhm.
year, and learned an incredible amount. So it's gonna be cool to see what she says.
Yeah, I mean, and we're focusing, yes, like, budget, investments, knowing how money works, it's all important, but I feel like our bigger focus is on, again, the relationship behind money, the energy of money, the flow of money, the worthiness, it all comes down, again, to our beliefs, and so I'm just yeah, it's something I'm really passionate about, so I mean, yeah, money is a tool. I believe we have come to this earth to manifest, to create, to have abundance, and money is a tool to do that. So,
Oh,
yeah, I'm excited
yeah,
to dive more into it,
me too.
and we'll bring in more of, like, the personification of it. Like, everyone is so different and individual, so we'll bring in tools such as human design and astrology and gene keys into how an individual um best receives money, creates money, expands money,
Yeah.
like learning on an individual level, like how do I view it? How do I want to view it? How do I feel about it? How do I want to feel about it? Like, just again, it's a journey of just discovery, and it's
Which
there's just
go
so much potential. It's so
Well,
exciting.
which goes back to the inner knowing of
Yeah.
knowing, like, what is your path?
Mhm.
Gene Key specifically talks about money, of how based on your design, some people don't want a lot of money. They don't
Yeah.
want to have to
Or
hold
need a lot of money,
capacity for it
right?
or need it.
Yeah.
There's other people that wanna contribute in forms of charity and humanitarian. There's people that are built for power and allocation, like,
Yeah.
so I love that just this always comes back to the self
Yeah.
of, like, I think the more we understand ourselves, the more we understand the flow of money in our lives, and that looks different for everybody. And maybe that's something, I don't know if we talked about this, but that's something I would also love to talk about or do a post on, is like removing the judgment
Yes.
around the hierarchy of money, and being able to
Yeah.
approach it from a lens of like
Yeah.
what fits for you.
I think it all comes back to alignment, right? Like, yeah, someone might not need a lot of money, and so I don't know. Yeah, we'll dive into all the gist of it, but it is so individual. There is no hierarchy. Like, I think it's all about, again, coming to terms with who you are, what you want, and um yeah, what we can create.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, excited.
All right. Well, have a good
Okay.
week, y'all.
Yeah, you too.
Peace.
Love you, bye.